Phew, where do we even begin? It finally happened. After weeks, months of mounting pressure, locker room whispers, wild speculation, and absolutely blistering public outrage, Kevin Stefanski is out, fired, gone, escorted out of the building with a clipboard still in his hand, and a look that probably screamed, "I didn't think it would end like this." Well, Coach, it did. And let's not pretend we didn't see this coming. If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed. This was less a surprise and more of a slow, dramatic car crash. Everyone watching knew the Browns were heading toward a wall. They just kept hoping someone would slam the brakes before impact. Instead, Stefanski stomped the gas. And what was the final straw? Disrespecting Shedeur Sanders. Period. Let's rewind the tape, because this story is so chaotic it might need its own ESPN docuseries. Shedeur Sanders wasn't just another rookie QB. He wasn't some long-shot seventh-rounder with raw mechanics and a hopeful arm. He came into Cleveland with pedigree, poise, and a preseason performance that had fans and analysts alike asking one question: why isn't this kid starting? We're talking laser-precise throws, total control of the huddle, charisma that lit up the field like Friday night lights. He didn't just look like he belonged. He looked like he was born for it. And then he got benched for Dillon Gabriel. Yes, Dillon Gabriel, who, bless his heart, is trying. But watching him attempt to run this offense is like watching someone try to drive a Formula One car with a learner's permit. It's frantic, it's choppy, and half the time you're just hoping he doesn't stall out mid-play. But Stefanski, he was all in, for reasons still not fully explained. He dug in his heels and made Gabriel the guy, over and over, through fumbles, through interceptions, through embarrassing 3-and-outs, through literal boos from his own fans. And when people pushed back, when reporters, fans, everyone with eyes started questioning it, Stefanski doubled down, and that's when things got toxic. Because let's be clear, this wasn't just a football decision anymore. This became personal. You could feel it, the way Stefanski tiptoed around Shedeur's name in press conferences, the way he used an allegedly nagging injury to justify sitting him out, an injury that miraculously only flared up when it was Shedeur's turn to play. It wasn't about readiness. It wasn't about scheme fit. It was about control, about narrative, about a coach who decided he didn't like being outshined by a 22-year-old rookie who walked in with cameras already following him. And fans? Oh, they lost it. Cleveland fans aren't just passionate. They're militant. They live and breathe this team. They've waited their entire lives for a quarterback to believe in. And for the first time in forever, they saw one in Shedeur Sanders. And then they watched their head coach throw that all away for a QB who looked like he was still finding the locker room. Twitter melted. Talk radio exploded. Hashtags started trending. Even former players started speaking out. You had ex-Browns, league vets, and national analysts all asking the same thing. Why is Shedeur not starting? But Stefanski stayed silent, stubborn, delusional. Then came that game, the one where Gabriel threw 2 interceptions, completed 9 passes the entire night, and was booed off the field by his own stadium. Meanwhile, Shedeur sat on the bench, helmet on, eyes focused, not saying a word. And after the loss, Stefanski stood at that podium, looked the media dead in the face, and said, "We're confident in our quarterback. We like where we are." It was over. You could hear the snap, the final disconnect. That one sentence was a middle finger to every Browns fan, every player who believed in Shedeur, every analyst who had been calling for weeks for sanity to prevail. And within hours, leaked reports, front office meetings, sources close to the organization. The kind of rumors that swirl when the suits are in panic mode. The writing wasn't just on the wall. It was in neon. And now it's official. Kevin Stefanski has been fired. Let's be clear, this isn't just about quarterback favoritism. It's about vision. It's about leadership. Stefanski lost the locker room the second he made it clear that this was no longer meritocracy. Because you can't tell grown men, NFL professionals, to trust the process, to compete every day, to earn their spot, and then turn around and bench the best player because he doesn't fit your emotional comfort zone. It doesn't work like that. Not in 2025. Not with this roster. Not in Cleveland. And the locker room? Let's just say the vibes weren't great. You had veterans quietly backing Shedeur, young players frustrated by the inconsistency, and an offensive line visibly deflated every time Gabriel took the field. There was even that viral sideline clip, remember? Gabriel misses a wide-open throw on third down, walks off the field, and the camera catches one of the receivers mouthing, "Put in Shedeur." The cracks were there. Stefanski just refused to look, and it's a shame, because once upon a time, this guy was a golden child. Smart, calm, analytical. People were calling him the next McVay. But somewhere along the way, he forgot the most important rule of coaching. Adapt or get out of the way. Shedeur Sanders isn't a maybe. He's not a developmental project. He's the real deal. And the fact that the Browns had him on the roster and chose to bench him is going to go down as one of the most baffling moves in modern NFL history. But now the page is turning. The coaching search begins. And the pressure is on the front office to make the right hire. Someone who sees what everyone else sees. Someone who walks into that facility on day one and says, "Shedeur Sanders is our guy." That's what the fans want. That's what the team wants. That's what the league wants. Because this kid, he's not just talented. He's magnetic. He's a leader. He's marketable. He's focused. He carries the Sanders name, sure, but he's building his own legacy one play, one decision, one moment at a time. And now, he finally has the green light. There's no more maybe later. There's no more we're being cautious. There's no more injury reports to hide behind or coach speak to spin. The road is wide open. So Browns fans, take a breath. You've been through hell, but the clouds might be parting. Your quarterback is here. Your coach is gone. And the future? It just got a whole lot clearer. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Was firing Stefanski the right move? Should Shedeur start immediately? And who do you want as the next head coach to lead this team into its new era? Subscribe for the next chapter of this wild, dramatic, very Cleveland saga. Because if this is just the beginning, then you better believe it's going to be one hell of a ride. Oh, we're not done. Not even close. Because while the ink on Kevin Stefanski's termination papers is still drying, the real story is just getting started. Let's not get it twisted. This wasn't just a firing. This was a purge. The kind of clean break an organization makes when they've hit their limit. When the disconnect between leadership and reality becomes so unbearable that the only option left is to throw the whole clipboard out the window and start over. And at the center of it all, Shedeur Sanders. Because this wasn't just a coaching decision gone wrong. It was a betrayal, one that fans, players, and even the media could feel happening in real time. Shedeur showed up, outperformed expectations, rallied the locker room, won over the city, and was still sidelined like an afterthought. All because Stefanski couldn't stomach the idea of a rookie, a flashy rookie, being the face of his offense. Let's talk about that because it's important. There's a certain type of coach who lives and dies by control. The system is the star. The scheme is sacred. Players? Interchangeable. They want foot soldiers, not personalities. Robots, not leaders. And Shedeur Sanders? He doesn't fit that mold. He walks in with legacy, charisma, and command. He doesn't just play the game, he elevates it. He's not just throwing passes, he's building a brand, cultivating a movement, injecting energy into a franchise that's been trapped in football purgatory for years. And that made Stefanski uncomfortable. So instead of leaning into it, instead of seeing the opportunity of a lifetime, he tried to manage it, contain it, neutralize it. Big mistake, because this is a new league. It's faster, louder, bolder. Players are brands now. Quarterbacks don't just win on the field. They win in the press room, in the locker room, on the timeline. And if you can't handle that as a coach, you're already outdated. Let's go back to Shedeur's debut. It wasn't just that he played well, it was how he played. The footwork, the patience, the ability to process under pressure like he's already seen the play twice before. The kid looked calm, veteran calm. And it wasn't just flashes, it was consistent, measured, real. The coaching staff saw it. The players saw it. The fans, oh, they definitely saw it. And yet, every week, the depth chart stayed the same. Gabriel, still QB1. Shedeur, still benched. Still working back from injury. Still getting acclimated to the system. Still every excuse in the book, while Gabriel continued to serve up middle-of-the-road performances wrapped in lukewarm praise. And that was the beginning of the fan mutiny. You ever hear an entire stadium chant for a backup quarterback before halftime? It happened. More than once. The dog pound was howling, and not in a good way. Boos rang out. Social media turned savage. Memes, edits, petitions. Even Shedeur's old college highlights started trending, like fans were trying to remind the world, hey, this kid's actually legit. Why isn't he playing? And Stefanski, completely unbothered, stone-faced, detached, acting like the house wasn't on fire while the entire fan base was already roasting marshmallows on the flames. He didn't just lose the fans. He lost the locker room. It started subtle. A wide receiver skipping media availability. A linebacker reposting an Instagram story that said, "Free Shedeur." A lineman refusing to answer questions about trust in the quarterback. You could see the cracks forming. And the final nail? That anonymous player, quote, leaked to a local reporter. It's not that we don't respect Coach. It's just hard to follow a guy who doesn't listen to what's happening in front of him. Boom. After that, it wasn't as Stefanski was getting fired. It was when, because once a head coach loses a room, you can't coach your way back. You can't PR your way out. The voice gets quieter. The sideline gets colder, and every decision becomes a countdown. And so now, here we are, a fresh vacancy in Cleveland, a roster that's still loaded, a fan base that's fired up, and a quarterback who finally has a clear runway. Let's be clear, this is Shedeur's team now. And no, that doesn't mean everything gets easy. The expectations will be higher than ever. The spotlight? Blinding. The critics? Loud. He's not just a promising rookie anymore. He's the center of the Browns' entire identity. But here's the thing. He can handle it. He's been groomed for this since day one. Not just to play, but to lead, to perform under pressure, to thrive under scrutiny, to carry the weight of a franchise that hasn't had a stable quarterback since flip phones were cool. And if you think Shedeur is going to let this moment slip, you haven't been paying attention. We're about to watch a new era unfold in Cleveland. One built on talent, fire, and vision. One that understands that you don't contain greatness. You unleash it. The Browns need to hire a coach who gets that. Someone who walks in, looks at Shedeur and says, let's go. This is your offense. Let's build a dynasty. And if they do that, this team could be scary. Because make no mistake, this isn't just about proving Stefanski wrong. This is about proving everyone wrong. Everyone who doubted Shedeur. Everyone who said he was just hype. Everyone who said he was too flashy, too young, too green. He's heard it all, and now he's going to use it. So here's the moral of the story. When you got a generational talent in the building, you don't bench him. You don't belittle him. You don't try to shrink him to fit your narrative. You build around him. Kevin Stefanski failed to do that, and now he's watching the franchise move on without him. Let that be a lesson to every coach in this league. Evolve or get out of the way. So, Browns fans, how are we feeling? Relieved? Vindicated? Ready to finally build around the quarterback you've been begging for? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And hey, hit that subscribe button. Because something tells me Shedeur Sanders' rookie season just became must-watch television. All right, let's talk about what happens next. Because now that Kevin Stefanski is out the door, carrying a folder of regrets and probably a very well-worded LinkedIn update, the Cleveland Browns are standing at the edge of something rare and terrifying. A second chance. And if we've learned anything from this entire Sanders-Gabriel Stefanski meltdown, it's that second chances don't come around often in this league. Not when you've got a roster loaded with talent. Not when you've got a fan base that's been burning through hope like it's firewood. And especially not when you finally found a quarterback who looks like he could break the curse that's haunted this team since the 90s. So, the coach is gone. The seat is vacant. The question on everyone's mind now is, who's got the guts and the brains to take this job and not blow it? Because let's be real, this is a high-pressure gig now. Whoever walks through that door isn't just inheriting a team. They're walking into a boiling hot locker room, a furious fan base, and a franchise at a historic crossroads. They're also walking into Shedeur Sanders' kingdom. That's right. No more rookie with potential. No more we're easing him in. That ship has sailed. That narrative has crashed and burned. Shedeur isn't in the waiting room anymore. He's in the spotlight, and everyone knows it. The fans? They've claimed him. The locker room? They've rallied behind him. The city of Cleveland? They're already painting murals. This is his team now. And whoever becomes head coach needs to act like it, which means no more politics. No more weird injury excuses. No more playing it safe with Dylan Gabriel check-down drives that make people question why they bought tickets. It's time to go all in. No training wheels. No slow rollout. You either build the offense around Shedeur, or you get out of the way. Because the window is open right now. The defense is top tier. The offensive line is battle-tested. The weapons are legit. And Shedeur, he's got that look. You know the one. That mix of calm and killer instinct. That quiet fire behind the face mask. That ability to stand tall while the media storms swirl, while the coaching carousel spins, while the entire city waits for you to be the one. And Shedeur doesn't blink. He hasn't blinked once through this entire mess. Think about it. This kid got benched in favor of a less talented quarterback, publicly undermined by a head coach, sidelined while fans screamed for him. And what did he do? He stayed silent. He kept showing up to practice. He kept leading scout team drills. He kept mentoring other rookies. And every time the cameras cut to him on the sideline, he had that same look on his face. Focused, steady, unbothered. That's maturity. That's discipline. That's the kind of stuff you can't teach in a quarterback room or fake with a flashy press conference. And now that the Stefanski era is over, Shedeur's era begins. But let's not pretend it's going to be easy. Now that he's a guy, the expectations shift overnight. Every throw is under a microscope. Every mistake will be analyzed like a stock market dip. The media won't be asking if he's ready. They'll be asking why he's not perfect. But Shedeur's not scared of pressure. Pressure is his baseline. You think being the son of Deion Sanders doesn't come with baggage? You think carrying a brand, a legacy, and the entire hope of Cleveland is new to him? Please. This kid's been carrying weight since high school, and he's handled it with more grace than half the veterans in the league. Now the real fun begins, because when the next coach steps in, they've got a once-in-a-generation opportunity to develop a franchise quarterback from day one, without ego, without excuses, and without some stale QB competition charade. And you better believe Shedeur is going to be ready. He's probably already in the film room, already texting with teammates, already breaking down coverages. While the organization scrambles to get his house in order, Sanders is probably 10 steps ahead, like he always is. Let's not forget, this isn't just about football anymore. This is bigger than that. This is about Cleveland's identity, about finally shaking off decades of quarterback disasters and media mockery and becoming something real, something dangerous. Shedeur Sanders isn't just a QB, he's a statement that the Browns are ready to stop fumbling their future, a statement that leadership matters, that culture matters, that talent matters more than comfort zones or coaching ego, and it all starts right now. So what happens next? Step 1. The Browns need to hire a head coach who knows how to build around a young QB. Someone innovative, adaptable, and, most importantly, not afraid to let Shedeur be himself. No more trying to mold him into some system robot. Let the man cook. Build a playbook that plays to his strengths, his mobility, his timing, his vision, his composure. Give him a real offensive coordinator. Give him freedom. Give him trust. Step 2. Clear out the noise. Trade Gabriel. Or bench him. Or thank him for his service and part ways. Because keeping him around now just muddies the water and prolongs attention. This team needs clarity, not another round of depth chart drama. Step 3. Let Shedeur lead. Hand him the reins. Announce it publicly. Show the locker room, the city, the league. This is our guy. Stop hedging. Stop hiding. Stand behind your quarterback the way he stood behind you, even when you didn't deserve it. Because you know what? Shedeur didn't go to the media. He didn't complain. He didn't throw Stefanski under the bus. He handled all of it with professionalism. And now it's time to repay that trust. You give him this team, and he'll give you everything. Touchdowns, wins, energy, identity, maybe even a playoff run. Hell, maybe more. Because the truth is, the Browns might have stumbled into something bigger than they realize. This isn't just about a coaching change or a flashy rookie. This is about a shift in Cleveland's future. And if they do this right, if they stop fighting the tide and ride the wave Shedeur's created, this franchise could finally become something other than a punchline. But all depends on what happens next. So Browns fans, buckle up. The real story is just beginning. The drama? Oh, it's only going to escalate. But for once, there's a sense of hope. Not blind hope, not desperate hope, but earned hope. The kind that comes from watching a young quarterback refuse to break, from seeing a city rally behind him, from knowing that maybe, just maybe, this time is different,